Hello friends, welcome back to CCSP certified channel. My name is Rag and I have 14 years of industry experience. As I mentioned in previous videos, I have recently cleared CCSP exam and decided to prepare this video series on most important topics of CCSP exam, because soundness of concept is very important to clear any of the ISC2 exam. And this concept will not only help in exams but your day-to-day life or also your technical interviews also. I will start a CCSP batch soon. If you want to enroll for that, you can write me on ccspcertified@gmail.com. So this is the so in the last 6 video lectures we have covered the basic cryptography parts, and I mentioned that there will be 8 to 12 questions from cryptography basic concepts. And this series I am starting now, video series, that is advanced cryptography's uses. So it is not directly related to the cryptography but the application of the cryptography, and there will be 4 to 5 questions from this series also. So I will cover key management, HSM, FIPS, TDE in multiple lectures. There will be around 9 to 10 lectures on the cryptography itself. So out of this you will expect 10 from basic and 5 from these advanced topics. So around 15, that's 10% of the that syllabus will cover from this video series itself. So this 10 videos will cover your 10% syllabus, and I'm 100% sure by watching these videos you will able to give answer of all these 15 questions that may come to your exam. So I will do a quick recap, then come to the topic of the day, that is key management. And as we have seen previously, the key is very important when we play confidentiality or integrity or non-repudiation. Key play a very important role here. And we have seen the PKI also. The PKI we have seen, that is for public key management governing body. So far we haven't discussed about the private key, because private key is a secret which is not being shared to anyone, that is kept inside the infra. And in on-premise systems or non-cloud systems, the private key security is not very important or not being discussed. But when we are in cloud, normally we say that don't share the private key, that is secret, but this is not the case, because cloud needs customer key to perform encryption decryption on behalf of the customer. So the key sharing is required, and the key, when the key is being shared, definitely the whole encryption or decryption or the data security on the risk. And what are the mechanisms of this key management in the cloud, we'll discuss in this video series, and we'll cover some questions on this one. Those are very important questions because CCSP asks 2 to 3 questions on key management itself. So we'll cover them. Exam question also, sample questions, CCSP exam certified book questions also in this video series. So there are 3 ways to manage the key. One is to keep key along with the data. So in the cloud, if you keep data in the key together, it will be the fastest mechanism, but it's least secure because the key is on the same security level where the data is. The second is the when we keep in cloud but separate from the data. So there is a mechanisms there which we'll cover in the next slide, HSM, where we can have a key securely outside of the data, but it is still on the cloud. So it is fast, relatively fast, fast, not as fast as the first option, but relatively secure option. And the last is the key at the customer HSM or on-premise system. This is based in the security. And as we know, because there is always a dilemma, security and ease of use cannot go together. So this is based in security, but it is not as based in the usability. And it's depend on the use case which approach you select, because when we select, when we have a most important data, when the data security is most important to us, we may go with the customer based one. When there is a we can compromise with some security with the speed we not want, we can go with the second approach. Normally we avoid the first approach. First approach we don't ask to follow any of the scenario. We can select from second and third. And in the cloud also there are 2 more concepts there where the key management is most important or extremely important. One is when we move the data in the archive mode, the data in the rest, data is in the long-term storage, then it should be secure. No one should able to modify, read it. We encrypt it. Then the key should be where should keep the key, because if we lose the key, we lose the data. Same way when we replicate the data between BC and DR setup, the data on the DR side, which is not being used until the emergency or the contingency occurred, and we will select the multi-cloud when different clouds. Let's say we use BC as Azure cloud and DR as Oracle cloud. In that case, different cloud, the key should be shared between them. So key cannot be on the Azure cloud, because then the Oracle cloud cannot use it. Then the key management is very important, where to manage the key. And this is a private key management. Basically, we are discussing public key is always exposed publicly, and for them PKI is there. So this is how we manage the private key in the key. And there is a module there, HSM, as I mentioned. Sometimes we also known HSM as a Vault. So Vault services of the cloud services are also HSM based. So HSM is mainly a physical computing device. So it is a external device, not embedded to the cloud. It is an external physical device, and that is hardened, tamper resistant, and that is being used for the digital keys, digital certificate, and performs the encryption description function also. And cloud-based HSM, this normally FIPS 142 level 3 certified. This is also being asked in the exam, because user get confused. FIPS 142, that I will cover in the next lecture, is a standard level, and the level 3 is the one which is certified for HSM. Sometimes they confuse FIPS 143 level 2, FIPS 143 level 3. Sometimes they confuse. So HSM is FIPS 142 level 3 certified HSM. And there are two modes of HSM, is shared and isolated. In the shared, it is shared between the multi-tenant, and same as a public cloud HSM, also public. They can have multiple vendors keys. Isolated will be a dedicated for you, that is more chargeable. So there are advantage for each and disadvantage of each. So now there is a last concept, is the data deletion. This is a very important concept, because the data when we move out of the cloud, when we move from one vendor to other, or when we want to remove the data, normally on premise we can simply delete the data by either destructing the hard disk, or if it is a magnetic tape, we can use the degaussing, or we rewrite this with some other data. That works. But in cloud, the data destruction is very problematic, because we cannot physically destruct the hard disk, because it is multi-tenant, multiple customer data is available. Degaussing also does not work, because normally cloud use SSDs for their data storage, and that does not affect by the degaussing. And overwriting they use, but it's always possible to rewrite the data or recover the data by the recovering tools. So rewriting is also not the best possible solution. The encryption is the best possible solutions when we go into cloud, and we encrypt the data, and then we throw the keys. So we have a keyword like a crypto shading or crypto eraser. There's a deliberate destruction of the key if you want to delete the data in the cloud. So either I encrypt the data, and then I encrypt with other key, and I throw the key, or I encrypt the data and I delete the key, or I encrypt the data in cloud. I use the cloud keys only, but when I can encrypt the key again by the customer managed key. So multiple way I can manage, or I can do the crypto shading. So no one can decrypt it, because unless we don't have key, we cannot decrypt it. There is one more concept, key escrow. This for the emergency situation, we keep key outside with the third parties. It is similar like we keep one of the keys with our trusted neighbors. So in case of emergency, we can collect a key from there. So it is only for emergency purpose we do the key escrow. And there are some disadvantages also, like neighbor can be malicious. They can go inside your house in your absence. So those possibilities are still there, but how the key management happens in the cloud. So there are some sample question we will cover here now, and then we will cover some CCSP question also. So let's the first question we try. the safest ways to disposal of the electronic records within a cloud environment. So if they are asking the cloud environment, so one is overwriting, one is physical destruction, one is encryption, the last option is degaussing. So as we know that in the cloud environment, it is a cloud environment, the physical destruction is not possible. So the best option is for the cloud environment is encryption. So this way we can delete the data in the cloud environment for the electronic records. But the same question, CCSP asked similar question multiple times in multiple ways, and you have to select the question based on the question language. So let's say I ask the same question. This is the same question like previous one. This is previous one. There is one just small change. The safest ways of disposal of the electronic record in the cloud is again the overwriting, encryption, degaussing, and the physical destruction. In this case, we will go with the physical destruction because it is agreed in the contracts. Let's say our contracts say that after I exit the cloud, if I leave from cloud and go to other vendor, my data should be physically deleted. It is for the more banking customer or the pharma customer or those who has maintain a contract with the cloud provider. They can go with the physical destruction, and this is the best way, as I discussed. And this is the CCSP question bank question. Again, it will test the same way, which is the following is the best way on only completely secure methods of the data destruction. So they are asking what is the best way and only secure method completely destruction of the data. Here it is not asking about the cloud, so you should be very careful when you read the question. In this case, I should go with this physical destruction. There will be crypto sharding answer is there, but we will not select this because it is not asking that in cloud what is the best way. If it asks in cloud what is the best way, the same question that we have covered previously, that in cloud what is the best way, in cloud the best way is crypto encryption or crypto sharding. But if it is the normal methods they ask, then we got the physical destruction. Again, we got the key management side. So as we have seen that the cloud customer cannot reach to the physical storage of the cloud provider because it may impact other customer. But why we cannot use degaussing as an effective mode in the cloud? So this we have covered in the theory part, that we cannot use degaussing, and the only reason is because cloud providers are using SSDs. Those are not impacted by the degaussing. So the only option we have in the cloud is the encryption or the crypto erasing. So if you see, cloud data storage may not be affected by degaussing as most cloud providers are using SSD for storage. Now we come to the next question. As with the traditional IT environment, cloud data encryption include all of the following elements except. So it is not asking that what is the deletion, encryption, others. Is asking what are the actors in the encryption methods. We have seen that encryption need a data, a engine or the algorithm, and the keys. We do have user, but user does not play any role directly. It is the key of the user who play the role. So Bob's and Alice keys are important. Who is Bob's is not important until and unless we do something specific to Bob's identity. Normally encryption need only data, engine and keys. Let's cover the next question. This is also CCSP question bank question. So in this question, according to ISC2, where should the cloud customer's encryption key should be stored? So it is asking what is the place where the cloud customer encryption key should be stored. As we have seen, there are three methods: key with the data, key at the cloud, and key outside cloud at the customer. So first option is with the cloud customer. Definitely it is possible. With the third party, it is possible. At the cloud provider data center, and anywhere but not the cloud provider. So all three possible are there, but the best answer is that store anywhere but not with the cloud provider. This is the best way, because if you store with the cloud provider, you have always possibility of the compromise, key get compromised. So we have to select the best option, even though we have multiple option available there. So key escrow is also one of the option, or the somewhere in the cloud other cloud environment, but same cloud provider we don't store the key. So these three options. The second is key escrow. First is with the cloud HSM. This is third party cloud HSM. So best options anywhere but not with the existing cloud provider. The next question is, as in the traditional IT environment, proper key management is crucial in the cloud. Which of the following principle is not true? So also I would like to help here that in exam, if it is a negative question, it will underline the not true. So that will be helpful that you understand and you don't miss the not condition. So which is not true regarding the key management. So we go. It is good practice to introduce pseudo random number when generating the key. Normally we don't need to do this one though, but many of the key algorithms is based on the pseudo random number only, RS and others. So it is true. Public key should never be shared in anyone. So this is wrong because public keys are used to be shared only. But we always, as I mentioned, always read all 4 options when give the answer. Losing the key is equivalent to losing the data. Correct? This crypto sharding. Symmetry key should be passed out of the bond. That we have seen the passing of the keys is a big challenge. The symmetric key, they should be passed out of the band. So best answer is B option. So whenever you attempt in the exam, you first read whether it's a positive or negative question. A second thing, you must always remember that there will be multiple right answer. Don't just read only first best answer and select. Read all 4 answer, select best out of the 4. So we'll cover a couple of more questions, then we'll close this chapter for today. Which is following is not a step in the crypto sharding. So what is not a step in the crypto sharding? Encrypt the data with the particular engine, correct? Encryption is needed for the encrypt first key with another encryption engines that we have seen. Even we encrypt the data, then key can be encrypted with other algorithms. Save the backup of the secondary result key. This is not. If it save the backup, then the whole purpose of the key loss will be used. So this is the key escrow concept. So this is not something crypto sharding process will want. Destroy the original secondary key. Correct. So in the crypto sharding, we don't want the key to be stored somewhere. Which of the following might take crypto sharding difficult or useless? What reason crypto sharding will be difficult? The first is cloud provider also managing the organization key. Correct. If the cloud provider managing the organization key, this looks correct. It will be very difficult for the crypto sharding because key copy will still remain at the organization end. Lack of physical access, this is not a case here. External attacker is not case here. Lack of user training. So the best answer for this one is this. So when we want to perform the crypto sharding, we must lose the key. If any way it is being stored or it is with the cloud, we lose the purpose of crypto sharding. So now the last question for the cloud data encryption situation where the cloud customer remains control of the encryption keys and the cloud provider only process and store the data could be considered as. So this we haven't covered the type of the cloud model here, but there are 4 type of cloud model. One is public, second is private, third is community, fourth is hybrid. Hybrid is that any of the combination of first 3 is the hybrid model there. Let's say public and private is hybrid, public and community is hybrid, and definitely on-premise is 5th model. And if 2 publics are involved, those are called as a multi-cloud. So hybrid cloud is being used. So when we ask the management of the encryption keys, when the customer perform the encryption of the data, then it is a hybrid cloud deployment model because customer is doing the encryption at the cloud level and then encrypted data is being sent to the cloud. So this is the example of the hybrid cloud. That's for today. If you want to reach to me, you can reach to me ccspcertified@gmail.com for more help. Thank you for watching this video. Like my video. Thank you.